I think we're good.
Okay.
Hi.
Wait, we're recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, hi. I'm Maddie,
I'm Callie.
and this is something.
This is this is the more podcasty type level review thing
Yeah.
where we've decided like the shorter videos are just going to be about individual levels, and then the longer videos are going to be about like broad concepts.
Yeah.
And this video, we're going to be talking about kind of 1.9 nostalgia, but more broadly just
Geometry Dash nostalgia.
nostalgia in the Geometry
Yeah,
Dash
it's
community.
kind of crazy. You guys are like nostalgic for something that happened like a couple years ago at least.
The game is like a decade old. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
it's
Yeah. You're like you're like people who are like nostalgic for like 2016,
yeah,
like when late stage Justin Bieber was on the air and everyone was spinning fidget spinners or whatever was happening that year.
I mean, even 2 years before, like 1.9 came out like 2014.
Yeah,
That was like
that seems fossilitic to
Obama
me.
era. Obama era.
That seems
Still.
fossilitic to some people, that something happened in 1.9. That's like forever ago, but you know,
So we're gonna start off looking at some classic 1.9 levels and getting into like what is 1.9, what is Geometry Dash to people, and then we'll move on to examples of it like in contemporary levels, contemporary YouTube.
yeah, because like the way people express nostalgia through their levels, through like comments, through like whole ass like servers or something. Like you have a 1.9 server or something, like where you just do 1.9.
Yeah, like
That's so silly and retrograde.
the private servers where you can just like make it so it's like one update.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Turning back time, actually.
but I yeah, I haven't actually seen a lot of these levels, so she's kind of gonna be introducing it for me. And what I'm looking to see is she's very poor at like telling me what genres are.
Well,
She doesn't know how to like explain things like that to me. And I guess it's cuz they're nebulous at the same time, but sometimes you kind of have to see it to know it. Like,
yeah, Geometry Dash like level genres are so poorly named. It's kind of just something a couple of people saw and plastered a term onto and it stuck.
yeah, like
Like
I'm still trying to find out what core is, what flow is. Like we're watching a level and I'm like, is this core? And it's not core. And then I say, is this core? And it is core. And I don't know why.
like I think that's something you like pick up on and you learn, but I don't think that's like integral to interfacing with a level. I don't think you need to like be able to say this is core to be able to like
It's fun.
yeah,
It's always
yeah,
fun when you
yeah.
can look at a painting and say, "Oh, this was from Orphism."
Like
Something.
I feel like the most egregious example is like experimental levels,
That's
which
so silly. That's
kind of cropped up around like 2019, 2020. Like experimental is just
I
like the creator is personally doing something out of their comfort zone. They're reaching for something else. But there was like it happened around Cold Sweat where like they're like, "Ooh, this is an experimental level." And then a bunch of like kids were like, "This is experimental." And they like imprinted that upon the like style of Cold Sweat, and then that kind of spawned like, oh, these are experimental levels when really they're just derivative of this one level. Is what
I think it's cuz people think genres are something you make instead of something you kind of stumble into just because of how you relate to everything around you. Like I don't think Pierre Mondrian was exactly like, oh, I'm going to make squares and lines specific. Like maybe when he,
yeah, yeah,
I think, part of that is just because you haven't seen that before or something. It's like new. And if you like look at a lot of Mondrian's like tree drawings, you actually see a lot of like his evolution and how he like goes through all the motions, all this like simplification and abstraction to end up like, with those squares and lines and stuff like that. Meanwhile, people are just seeing those squares and lines and they're like, okay, I'm going to do something abstract. So I'm going to do something experimental. So I'm going to paint square lines.
Yeah.
And that's just Geometry Dash.
You kind of, yeah.
You kind of don't have a sense of history.
Well, because people can just see something and pick up and carry on from that without, like, having the rest of it. Like, it
Maybe we should do an episode on experimental.
Or just on genre.
That'd be
Geometry
funny.
Dash, I think that. And big non sequitur. We'll probably look at like a funny game classic and then something else. Which funny game level?
Funny Game Holiday?
No. Either like
that one's so influential. Like
in the sense that it influenced me to make a spinoff.
Oh, spoilers, she's making a level based on Funny Game Holiday.
It's gonna be a banger.
That's what she says. And what I say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which funny game level? Okay. Funny game. Wow.
Funny levels.
The
Are you serious? Did you really not notice you said funny levels? Skip wife funny stickman puzzle games all levels gameplay walkthrough.
whatever. This is just because like I'm signed out, so it's showing me anything.
I'm surprised it did Geometry Dash first though. That's like
Wow. Oh, this is bad.
Hey, when you found a yellow portal and you are the robot, Game modes in Geometry Dash meme.
When you found a yellow portal and you are the robot. Okay, Revolution is fine.
Okay, let's look at Revolution. And we're not actually going to pause through it. We're going to...
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. Okay.
But, alright, here we go. Before that, I completely forgot to test how loud the YouTube audio would be compared to our voices when we were talking over it. So for any of the sections we're like watching a video, I have tried my best to subtitle it, and you'll have to do some reading. I'm very sorry.
The classic twin game. Wait for it. At 100% speed, does it still possible?
Every time I'll be like playing the game and I get to a wave section and I showed her the decode video where the guy like tries to like expose the person for like hacking on decode just because they beat the level, and now every time I play a fucking wave part she says does this look possible at 100% speed.
Okay, but this kind of has like 9 circle tendencies.
I don't actually know if it's I'm not completely certain of the chronology of 1.9 right now. I feel like especially in 1.9, what was pushing the game forward was kind of like effect levels and people trying to like make cool ass effects. And I think that's probably part of what kind of gave people like a complex around like effect levels and like nostalgia from especially like 2.0 like effect.
It's like ragtag, like you're pulling this together. It's kind of like you made this on a handset. Okay. Ooh, 25 more minutes of 1.9 nostalgia.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, maybe we should watch this video.
Oh my god.
So
you can barely tell we're just throwing this together. So I think this is.
Tell me if you want me to like.
Here's what I'm going to say. So like effect levels, yes, that's like a big part of 1.9, and there are a lot of features in 1.9, I'm guessing, that enabled that to happen. But in like subsequent years, I guess to like the nostalgia addled brain, like 2.0 and 2.1 and 2.2, definitely 2.2 started like devolving, like going into not Geometry Dash territory. Like suddenly it didn't feel it suddenly like you look at like fucking Rage Quit by Bly and I'm like, oh my god, that's not Geometry Dash. That is that really Geometry Dash or something? And I doubt people are going to be very nostalgic for that beat because I don't know, it doesn't really hit it for a lot of people what Geometry Dash like is. Like literally like the robtop levels are so encoded into like the cultural memory. Like they're literally the biggest button when you log into Geometry Dash. Like literally
What if the This Is Geometry Dash voice clip from Dash is Robtop trying to reassert that this still is the same game.
Yeah,
he's feeling insecure.
Yeah, dude, like I'm literally just trying to make Mario now, and soon you'll be calling Mario Brothers Geometry Dash because you're too confused or something.
I feel like when I see this level now and I think back on it, it's like people look back on it, and when their minds are addled with like this 1.9 nostalgia, they think of like oh, they had such little to work with, but they made so much out of it. Like it's almost like I don't know, like
it's a bit fetishistic.
Yeah, like you worked your way up to the, like you managed to make something out of nothing. People have the idea that like new things were only being made in 1.9. Like people were pushing the game forward. They had like new ideas, and then it stopped at some point.
And I consider like updates like stimulus packages. Like they're basically like I'm giving you new tools or something, and do what you want with them or something. And 2.2 is just a huge stimulus package. Like, oh, I'm giving you every like single tool you can think about. You can turn the camera this way. You can even not always be moving forward or something. And I guess for a lot of people 1.9 was like the last like bit where like they like all those contributions by robtop stop like before they started being like a huge factor in like what people were making.
Yeah.
So, like it's the creators that are creating, not robtop's tools that are creating or something.
Yeah, like the creators are drawing some essence out of the stuff that he's providing rather than robtop like kind of providing them with what. Yeah. I like for up until 2.0 I feel like there was a very set aesthetic in like what blocks were being added. Like it's like each update really only added like a new tile set, some new gears, and like some new air deco or something, until 1.9 added like a bunch of color channel stuff, which was like the biggest thing for the time.
Can you name some other things that got added in 1.9 for
layering? It was mostly layering and color channels, I think, were like given a lot more robust. Like it was made a lot more robust. That's
like the biggest kind of updates you can give that are like still technically like quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's like.
But when people think about like what Geometry Dash is, I think they think about just that aesthetic, like the 1.9 and like before that, like prior aesthetic. Once 2.0 came out, like moving objects, it was a much different art style. Like the art style was much more different. It was like I don't know. I think 2.0 is like the Mario update. Like if you look at like Geometrical Dominator, like the robot kind of imitates like Mario's jump. I don't know. It
we played
with 2.0 with 2.0 he adds like the monsters, like the dragons or whatever they're supposed to be, like
And
these
they're awesome.
characters. It kind of like it kind of turns it into more of a brand. I don't
A
know.
little bit. When did like all those chest things come in?
A lot of that came in 2.1.
Wow.
Like the demon keys and like the daily reward
Those are
stuff.
so funny. You know, I just started playing Geometry Dash. I finally downloaded it
Yeah.
for the $5, and I gotta tell you, I'm having the time of my life. I went through most of the Dora bays.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Most of the easy ones, everything that was still like hard or easier.
That's given me a new perspective. You know, I'm not looking at from
Soon-
Tiles Creator
yeah.
Land. I'm looking at from Severia Player Land.
Although she just came out with level
Oh yeah,
called The Second Sun.
yes, play it. It's
It's goated. You gotta see it.
but I think I floated this around her and she's been a bit ambivalent about it, but I think a lot of people are just nostalgic for readable levels. Like, you know,
Yeah, maybe.
like you can
I
I think a lot of like the unreadability and like sort of all of that was kind of enabled by like, oh, just everything's dark on the screen and or something. And like I think that's a lot harder to do in 1.9, but also like you have less tools and stuff, and like it's pretty easy to tell. Like if you look right here, like you can tell where the boundaries are. Meanwhile, for like, you know, 2.1, 2.2 level, you know, you're a little bit like less aware of, you know,
like what could be like.
yeah, what's a
a
block and where you have to jump, you know, like if you go on.
I mean, people. This might be just a case of you not experiencing enough levels. But
yeah,
like,
definitely.
there were some unreadable fucking levels, and like the levels that would just get dislike bombed because like people couldn't figure out where to go in the first like 5% of the level. Like the maze, like
God, maze levels.
there was some really obtuse stuff that you just have to practice and learn and grind out.
Yeah, jeez.
Okay, but moving on, we're gonna look at, unless you had something else.
No.
Okay, we're gonna look at another level, which is a personal favorite of mine, heavily inspired by this. Illusion by Dev3. Awesome level. Another.
We're serious about success. Oh, this is true. This is literally true.
Yeah.
And like the mechanical like side. Like, I'll talk more about like just kind of. Yeah.
Don't
Moving.
Oh, who told me playing Dora levels? That's 2.2 level.
Okay.
Rage Quit by Bleed.
All right. I got reminded of two things while I watched this.
Yeah.
So number one is undeniably like the literal like aesthetic of 1.9. Like these gears right here, these are like so mechanical. It like fills out the space. I think I described like some level like Death Moon or something as looking like a Persian rug or something.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
just everything's like filled with detail and stuff, and you know you have core and that takes it to the extreme, but like, you know, and everything here is like the same color. It's all about like the form.
Yeah, okay, like it's very block centric. It's very aware of the grid. It's aware of
Yes, the grid.
it's aware of what it's like to make a geometry deck, or like
Yeah. I think like when people see something that they themselves can make, that is like such a boon like for them. Like if
Yeah.
they can see something and they're like, "Oh, they definitely placed this, they placed that. They did all that." I mean, that's why people like impressionism or post-impressionism. Like you can see the brush strokes. You can like
Yeah. Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what people were doing like, and sometimes you can even see the canvas itself like
Like, okay, Taboo. They
taboo.
are still very in touch with, like, I think the essence of the editor, like what still makes it unique, like what sets it apart from like just becoming like a fucking visual effects editor or like
Yes,
a video or like a game engine. It,
man, you're great.
it's like
Taboo.
it's like a quilt. It's like a yeah, like the Persian rug comparison you made. Yeah,
Yeah, like everything in here is so like I can imagine putting them these. You can like identify everything, and I think there's like a cleverness to like fashioning like certain objects in like ways that you can definitely like see like um I can tell how you did that effect like really easily or something like this blur effect or like
yeah,
this
yeah.
like you put these two objects
Like you
together
could
in an
puzzle it
interesting
out.
way. Like it's so eminently clever and it like inspires you.
Like nowadays, like Sputniks and all the like rage quit, but like it wants you to ask like, how the fuck like how did they make this? Like it seems impossible. It it, it's so far distanced from you.
Yeah, a little bit. Um, Maybe in the editing stage, this is going to be very torturous for you, but I want you to puzzle out this one Monet painting I'm thinking about. I put it on my Tumblr or something,
Okay,
and
I'll
like you
find
can
it.
literally see like the
Oh, I
ripples.
know exactly
Like yeah,
yeah, I know what
like
painting you're talking about.
like literally the ripples are made out of like
One,
single
it's
brush
so fucking good.
strokes, and like it's so simple and like clever, and it's like first of all, wow, I can make that, but also it's like how do you do that? Like it's literally like broadcasting your cleverness or something. I think if you have a lot of easy ways of doing like I think it's almost easier to like make something like really detailed like 2.1 style.
It's kind of like in Minecraft, like when you get like when you like have to make like a computer or like a like something like that or like a bench or a chair and you like put together two stairs or whatever and like it's like yeah that's what it is like that kind of
Yeah. I
that
yeah. So I also wanted to talk about, and I don't know if this is gonna last as long as that one, but I also wanted to talk about the music. So like, when could you get like non?
Newgrounds was like license like was added in 1.9.
Okay, 1.9.
They
There you
kind of
go.
defined yeah
Like you literally have new songs. That's kind of crazy. Like
god I
you don't have to go to don't have to just do Stereo Madness. You don't have to do Polargeist. Like you can kind of form your own identity, like with a different song or something. And I mean a lot of like the robtop levels, or the music that came with the robtop levels, kind of have a life of their own. Like, if you hear like club step, you might think of this level, or if you hear Stereo Madness, you might think of this one. But like here, it's like so specific. But also like this song, like specifically, like
yeah levels because there were so many new songs like levels kind of like if a level like got popular and used a specific song then that song kind of melded with that it took on its identity like if you think about the song used like in this I forget what it's called but if you hear it you think about this level if you hear like the fucking like chaos airflow or whatever you think about the funny game level if you yeah
and
it
I also think you shouldn't just discount like, okay, this literally just sounds like early 2010s like Newgrounds type of thing, like Water Flame or Forever Bound or something like that. Like kind of like a dubstep sort of EDM-y, trancey kind of thing. And like, now with where in 2.1, 2.2 where it was like more it's like more common to just like download something completely different,
Yeah,
from
non-Newground
like
songs are.
they had like at this point in time you could like carbon date some of these songs, like
Yeah.
they're like so eminently like dateable back to like that, and I think that definitely enhances like why people feel nostalgic for it. Like they see the visuals, they see the music, they're taken back to their childhood, or like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Which for a lot of people is their
Yeah,
childhood.
definitely. For, let's be honest, most of these people, they were definitely children.
Yeah.
Unless
For a
there's
lot
like
of actually now that 2.2 has dropped, a lot of them were probably like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Or like,
And definitely by that point, I think like so much of like the image of Geometry Dash, this is probably very uncontroversial, but like demons, like extreme demons, club step, monster, all that kind of stuff is like so rooted in 1.9, and like
well,
like Bloodbath.
Extreme Demon came out in 2.1.
Ooh, wait, what?
Extreme Demon got added in 2.1.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, but like Bloodbath was 1.9.
Bloodbath was 1.9.
And like that's what I think of when I think
that's
like
extreme
hard
demon.
hard that's hard and stuff. And like yeah, like literally like so many of the like Geometry Dash signifiers of hardness come out of like you can see the whole thing, and you can see it's like a fucking web of like spikes and wave parse and shit like that, like just laid out very frontally. I think like
do you think like obfuscation of Extreme Demon gameplay has done what has that done?
So it's kind of I think it's evolved, like Slaughterhouse is a little iconic, I guess.
I think for newer players,
yeah,
I think that's like that's the hallmark of
there are
difficulty.
definitely like phases to this, like the 1.9 Extreme Demon, even though that didn't exist, the 2.1 Extreme Demon or something, even like the old stuff like Demon Park or Stereo Demoness, or like I think 1.9 is like so frontal, like everything's like flattened to the picture plane.
Yeah.
Like there's barely any parallax. I don't think you can even do parallax, right?
And the only parallax is from the background.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like so frontal. It's like right there. And like whoever finishes it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's vulnerable in a way. Like it's it's hard to like hide. Yeah,
it's frontal. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Okay,
so next
we look
at Dear Nostalgists.
Yeah.
Then F Nostalgists.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot to say on these two levels. Like there's a bit, but again, it's
okay.
Just
we talked about a little bit about nostalgia, so let's talk about how people talk about nostalgia.
I think Dear Nostalgists, at least in my from my experiences, is like the first kind of response to it. It's always ever since 2.0, because that was such a big change. People have been looking back. This was Triaxis. She was one of the most popular creators at the time. Kind of made a response. Like a bunch of people were like, "Oh my god, levels were just made so much better." And okay, I think that reaction was because 2.0 for like compared to all the other updates was the largest update. So there was a learning curve. And 2.0 wasn't like that long either. There was a bit of a learning curve. So people took like a lot longer to get back in the stride of making like a good level, whatever that means. Whereas in like 1.6 or 1.7, all you'd really need to do is make some cool block designs with that palette. Like there was a learning curve to move triggers. There's a learning curve to all these things. It adds like another dimension, and so it took people a lot longer to catch up. And so I think the reaction of like, oh god, people made levels better back then was just because 2.0 was just still so new, you know. And I guess that just kept iterate. Or yeah, 2.1 the same thing happened, but then we sat with it for so long that it was kind of like conquered, I guess. I don't know.
It's like the end of history. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, this is the last. Yeah, this is it. Like, basically,
Yeah.
People thought 2.1. This is it. Like,
2.1's length obviously is like a major contributing factor to nostalgia, just because when you have nothing to look forward to, like, where else do you turn besides like the past?
Yeah,
right?
You can probably like look at America in the 1990s and
yeah,
and find like literally like so many like analogs to like 2.1. Like,
yeah.
What's the Geometry Dash equivalent of Nirvana?
God. I don't know.
Or Bill Clinton, even.
Geometry Dash Bill Clinton is... I don't fucking
Riot?
know.
Nexus?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Viper,
What's your best
probably.
Riot?
Yeah. Comment below who you think Geometry Dash Bill Clinton is.
Or Geometry Dash Nirvana.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, during status.
Yeah.
Let me get my thing in. If you didn't hear it, I got cookies.
She got cookies. I made cookies.
Yeah.
All right, dear nostalgist. We're going to be looking at Dear Nostalgists, both Dear Nostalgists and F Nostalgists, just because there are F Nostalgists is a response to Dear Nostalgists. I'm going to wait until the video is over, but I'm just kind of I think both of the levels on the fall from their intention. Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah. I love that what you did more. Like, that little
Electronic music is really taken seriously.
Is that right?
Yes.
Then it would do a flip, like a freaking...
So you know, the blocks going like bubble.
No, the guy. I'll show you.
Oh, he's talking.
It's hard to like restrain myself. It's better if I wait till the end too, because I can't really be coherent while like listening or paying attention to something. Oh my god, that's just I guess that part. So, yeah, Triaxis, she made this level in response to people being like, oh my god, people made levels so much better back then. And I think it fails in two ways. The first way it fails is that it's not really a 1.0 level or anything like that. It's just a Triaxis level, but with a different block palette. Like, it's fun for the time. It's good gameplay.
Were people nostalgic for 1.9 or 1.0?
People are mostly nostalgic for 1.9, I think. 1.0 nostalgia is more just like... 1.0 is like the default aesthetic of the game. That's like... That's the...
That's the text of all of Geometry.
Like, before it got rebranded in 2.0, basically. That's like the OG brand of Geometry Dash.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad level. Like, it's... I feel like she was trying to prove, like, oh my god, like... I don't know. But it's not a bad level. It doesn't really go that far, like, ideologically. It's a very safe level.
It's very syncretic. Like, you melt the 1.0 stuff and the 2.0 stuff, and then it's very clear that, like, moving just got announced. Like, you can move.
Moving just got announced.
Yeah, new moving update.
In this level, being so safe and being, like, good and fun to play, and kind of, it's visually fun. Like, the way that they use the new, like, the way that she uses the new 2.0, like, mechanics combined with the old aesthetic is, like, compelling. It's a good level. I like this level. And it got, like, very popular, but what that did was it signaled to, like, I think, like, content creators and people who were looking for an easy buck, like, looking for an easy creator point, or is that, like, it's a new, like, marketing thing. Like, if you look at it nowadays, like, at, like, Partitions, YouTube, Nexuses, sometimes you'll see, like, oh, this level but 1.0, or you'll see, like, I don't know. I think Mountain King isn't, like, that bad. I think Mountain King is kind of funny and playful, even if it is, like, very clickbaity with, like, the big, like, speed port, like, 11 times speed portal or whatever. But
see, like, I think what you want for this level is, like, a statement level or something, but I don't know. From my completely naive, like, yokel point of view, like, those kinds of statement levels were kind of only kind of started rising in, like, 2.1, late 2.1.
Yeah,
like,
nobody was really...
In the Radiator by Wes is such, like, a statement level. Like, literally, it's basically like Fountain, Marcel Duchamp.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think people... I think this is, like... I don't know if I, like, agree with that criticism, because, like...
It's a good level, but a bad statement.
What would you say the statement is?
I mean, the statement is in the description of the level, but the statement doesn't really show in the level itself. Like,
what was the statement, though?
It was people saying 1.0 and 1.9 was better, so, like, here you go, I guess, kind of, like, begrudgingly. She gave them what they wanted, basically. I don't know.
It's basically like, making a Marvel movie in response to people not liking Marvel movies. Like, I guess at this point people were like, okay, we're gonna work within this. We're not gonna no artsy fartsy shit. Like no one.
I think that, like, Triaxis did something new with this level and interesting. Like, yes, it gave them what they wanted, but she did do something new and interesting. But it inspired a whole, like, slew of other people to stop doing new things. Like, to just kind of copy this. It became a genre, like 1.0 levels. Like,
I think that's just a habit of Geometry Dash. I mean, literally experimental levels. Like,
yeah,
you can literally, like, do something experimental, or like, oh, I want to do the experimental level, and you just copy the thing.
That may be, like, another source of nostalgia too, is, like, the feeling that, like, people are just kind of copying one another and like not moving forward, like very
Like very insular, like literally
yeah.
just like a server, like people like they have that 1.9 server, and that seem that seems very like deliberately like holding yourself back, like
Well, it's interesting to me because on
mm,
the 1.9 server, all people, at least from my perspective, which is very limited on the 1.9 server, like most people are just like trying to make 2.1 levels or 2.2 levels
really
with 1.9 blocks. Like they're
interesting.
not really doing anything new with 1.9 as much as they're just trying to imitate like the newer like
Like an
styles with
like
the
an
older
alternate
blocks.
history almost. Like
Yeah, it's weird. It's
hmm.
really bizarre.
Okay, wow. Like hmm. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. Whoa.
Did we talk about F nostalgia now?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So
We
F nostalgists. F nostalgists is like a very it,
it's one update later.
yeah.
You are
It's one update later, but only like 3 or 4 years after the which is kind of crazy. But this level this is a very angry level. It's not angry, but like a tired level. It has so much spite with it.
it's like a remix of F nostalgia. Of the Dear Nostalgia song.
Yeah, yeah. Oh wow, it still has like the older version. Yeah.
Silly. That's a little silly.
What? What?
Okay, maybe that's a bit dismissive.
Yeah. That okay.
Okay,
That's part of the problem. Okay, so JF made this level. I have the I'm lucky that JF was in monthly Epic Roundup for a while, and he did talk briefly about F nostalgists and his intent behind it. So I think I can speak a little bit more clearly on this than I can Dear Nostalgists. He made this level because he was tired of Dear Nostalgists and people imitating Dear Nostalgists. Because he sees all these people like, oh my god, they made levels like back then way better. And it is like, why? Like, if you feel that way, it's your responsibility to make new things, like to be creative, to like push boundaries. Like it's an angry level. It like he's pissed. He's tired of these people for like 5 years, like all of 2.1 and some of 2.0, just like, oh my god, I wish people were still like making new stuff. And he publishes this level, and I think his mistake is in the description. Well,
Ooh.
there's two things. In the description, he says like, "Oh, this is a not so serious level," and then I think that led for Viprin in the in the description. You can see he says like, "Oh, JF's always been a bit of a jokester." This level is a prime example of that, and I feel like
It's a huge parody.
that like deflates it so much. Like the I don't know how you can say that it can be a bit he can be a bit of a jokester when you see like the effective jump scare in this like I don't know, this isn't a very funny level to me. It depicts this like 1.0 style as so like it's slow, it's like decaying, it's like dying. It feels
Ooh.
like moldy and catatonic, like nothing's happening. It kind of drags you into something newer, but then it immediately like it glitches out and takes you right back to just back to Dear Nostalgists again, and then it jump scares you with the fuck Nostalgists. And also, this level is kind of neutered because the title used to be fuck Nostalgists, and the jump scare used to this is the old recording where it was flashing and photosensitive, and robtop or vibrant, I don't know, I think it was robtop, like made him change it to F nostalgists and make the jump scare less visually
We
intense.
literally got the Haze code for Geometry Dash.
Yeah, but this level got so neutered. Its message kind of got censored. It got like
I think
misconstrued.
I think there's like a grain of this level that like aims to be like like uncopyable. Like you were saying that JF's like concern with Dear Nostalgia was that it wasn't challenging anything, and that like people, it just got pulled back into the system. Like people just started making like 1.9 remakes of X level, 1.9 remake of this level and something, and like directly inspired from Dear Nostalgists. And I think like something in like the meanness and sort of coldness of this level.
it's a scary level.
Yeah.
Like when it gets to this part, like at the end, like I kind of tense up a little bit.
Like it feels like mean, but also like personal. Like if you copied it, like it's suddenly like lose its aura or something. Like, you know, if you try to make your own version of this, like it's kind. I think like it's certainly outside of like the norm, but I think that works to its benefit and to its detriment. Like to its detriment, I think like if you're making a level like this that like aims not to be like replaceable or something, like that's kind of gonna hinder it a little bit, because like then no one's like taking no like it's
like this is a bad like to be a like no one's gonna like really like
yeah
yeah
like no GD level is an island.
Like this level failed in the same way that Levolution did.
I don't know what Levolution is.
Like its message isn't very easily like transmittable. It's not very easily.
Yeah, like half of the power of like Geometry Dash is how like syncretic it is. Like, you know, when you're like deep in those
Like-
creator spheres, like literally you're crediting like Funny Game, you're crediting Dorabe, you're crediting like you see a grain of all these different like creators and levels, and like your level and like this here, but this is like so tailored and hyper specific. Like I think I definitely see this like in a lot of different like more off the beaten path stuff, like in the Radiator, and like I don't know, more like artsy levels sort of that are making a statement. But like I think that this is it's an interesting level. This is kind of my first time like really thinking about it.
Levolution was a thing that Optical did, who was like the biggest modern creator, and he was like, guys, you can make levels with few objects and like optimize it and like you like but then people were just like, oh wait, we should just make shitty modern levels. And like the message was like it failed, like it wasn't very transmittable. It kind of the point was misconstrued, and then it wasn't very transmittable, so Levolution kind of failed.
Yeah.
Like this level is trying to send a message, but it's not. You're saying that like it just kind of stand like there's no way.
It's like
like
it seems like so like
it's not very transmissible as like a meme in the cultural sense, like the old definition of meme.
So I'd say this is more of like this is a discourse level. This is a level that kind of loses a lot of its meaning, like if you don't consider it like in like the discourse and like
Like
content,
like what Vibrant did, like
what it's commentating.
Yeah.
Like it's the difference between like the room and like a review of the room. Like literally, like, you know, you can definitely like make your own like piece of art or something like of when you're like reviewing the room, like you can have this take on this movie, you can have that take on that movie. Sometimes you can even like craft something, but there's always like a certain like secondary nature to like a discourse level, just in how it's treated. I'm not sure if I'd say it's like inherently like essentially secondary, but there is a way that people receive like reviews of works that are very like you're not it's more like they think you're not doing anything new, which is weird because like most of Geometry Dash is so tailored around like inspiration by like especially in the creator scene, like just who you're like getting your inspiration from. And
you everyone's inspired, but you can't be too inspired, or because then you're copying.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about radio someday.
But yeah, I Viper and I feel like kind of shut down a lot of this. Not that like, okay, if we're being real,
was this yeah, this is a little like one description, is that
I don't know. The level didn't get very popular, and if I'm being honest, there's not a lot of actual like discussion happening in the Geometry Dash community. But yeah, it could have been more poignant. It could have had a larger effect, like something closer to like Dear Nostalgists, but like people just weren't ready for it.
In addition to the title, robtop might not give this an epic rating.
robtop did give this an epic rating.
Okay.
Yeah, like this level was kind of just like, this level is so like people just saw it and were like, yeah, this is such a weird level, JF. You're such a jokester. Like, and maybe it was just because it was coming from JF. Like, JF is known for, like, making
furry porn.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He just made a server that had furry porn posted on it.
Okay.
It's not his fault.
Okay, sorry
it
for
was
the
fun.
slander.
It was a fun.
We love you. We love you, JF.
Like JF is the guy who makes like the fun, like cool, creative, like playable, family friendly level. Well, okay, maybe not family friendly. Okay, maybe I take all this back. I don't know why it didn't land. I wish. Yeah, he made like the level with the penis in it that got rated.
Oh yeah.
And Your Brain on never mind, not family friendly at all. Why didn't people latch? Whatever. I guess people just aren't receptive to this sort of stuff unless it's told to them like bluntly in like text objects.
They didn't have the video essay that explains why In the Radio by Will Less is so inspirational.
Yeah, they didn't have the paste bin to explain it to them all.
Okay.
Whatever.
What do we talk about next?
Hi, so these are like somewhat improvised, and we didn't really have a plan for what the last level we were going to watch would be. And we chose Smalks by Durian Head, but we kind of just fumbled, and it was like 1 a.m. So I'm just going to do like a really quick supercut of the interesting bits. Also, just because I don't want to subtitle another video. But, yeah, here's that. Wait, I need Cookie also.
This is such a troll of a recording session.
Well, I feel like we've said a lot of good stuff, but we just have to find a good way to like conclude it with whatever we talk about. I don't know.
How about I think that would be a good finisher. Like, we just talk about something that is like blatantly just 1.9 nostalgia. So, like, what do we do that isn't like super mean?
I feel like it's hard not to be super mean with some of these.
Okay, we should talk about Durian Head then.
Yeah, this level is so bad.
Oops, don't put this on the Reddit. Please don't edit this in, otherwise we'll be killing someone's career.
I feel like of the audience of people who are going to be watching this video, most people will agree.
Alright, let's talk about Durian Head.
1.9
levels. Okay, let's talk about this one.
So we were going to choose like a nostalgia bait 1.9 level, but Maddie decided that we shouldn't do that because
it's too
like
mean. It's way too mean.
We'd be like tearing into it and just saying like,
yeah,
oh, this sucks.
That's like so nostalgia critic. like just showing what you don't do or something. That's so like negative. I think like everything, even the bad things, deserve to be analyzed. But like once you're, I don't think you should say anything's a bad example. Honestly, like I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. You don't want to be mean. Okay.
Okay.
Smocks by Durian Head. So that's Smocks.
That's a bad ending.
Not many people go for the good ending.
I think this is kind of a funny like bait and switch with like how people usually make these kinds of levels. So usually it's about communicating the language of 1.9, but not like the form of 1.9. Like people will be like making like 1.9 levels without like adhering to any of like the
like,
1.9 restrictions.
You'll have like
fun to like it's like constrained writing. It's like writing without the letter E. Like it's a challenge. It's something that you like should have to work with or something rather than be like, okay, I can just like do this in 2.1 and you know it makes my level smoother, so why not do it. 1.9 nostalgia levels should be like an example of constrained like writing or something. There's that funny Crazy Man 50 video where like it's like a 1.9 nostalgia level and it literally like runs out of like the 1.9 object limit like immediately.
Oh my god, Maddie, I guarantee you this fucking runs out of the 1.9 object limit.
Maybe.
It does.
Okay, fair. But so I think there are a lot of like gestures at like the old way of making like, geometry dash levels. Like there's the maze part, and I don't think there's as many maze parts. But yeah, there's a maze part. It's kind of crazy how like tired I got immediately as soon as we finished talking. Like I literally ate some cookies and now I'm like sleepy.
I think Smocks is so bad.
I think people treat it as like a glass ceiling that you always have to bump against instead of like a genre. It's a retro genre. Certainly, there's a lot of ways in which it's like hinting at a past, but it's also like pushing the envelope a little bit. And like that kind of brings up an interesting question. It's like, you know, Geometry Dash has changed like so fucking much like since 2.0. Like it's a different beast and you can't really go back in a lot of ways. So like what do you do with like all those aesthetics like that we kind of lost behind?
And that's actually what I'm trying to explore a little bit in the next level that I will be releasing. So.
And that's what I've explored in my level, The Second Sun. It's so awesome that our conclusion can just like show both of our levels.
And
that's
be a plug.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Plug.
Wait, yeah.
My level spoilers, you're getting insider information. It will be called Tiles Holiday. But yeah, I hope our musings about nostalgia and Geometry Dash have brought you, the listener, any sorts of new ideas, ways to relate to the game. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I love hearing what people have to say about the comments on the videos are always so like thoughtful and nice.
And as I say right now, two trans women can make a lot of beautiful things together.
True.
All right, good night.
Good night, guys. Take care.
And
Love
good
you
night
all.
and goodbye.
And goodbye.